Hello there, fantasy managers, and welcome to another video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. We've got a lot to get through today. We're going to be looking over my team, my transfer thoughts, best Arnautovic replacements, a lot of you with Arnautovic, myself included, looking at the way that I'm going and having a look at the best options. I think there are a lot of good options out there. Going over Kane versus Aubameyang, who should you be getting in? Should be getting both of them in this week. Best Spurs midfielders, for those thinking of going that way, and having a look at captaincy as well as other things like having a look back at Man City midfielders, which ones are the best to get there. So we've got a lot to get through. Let's get to it. So it's been a couple of game weeks since my last video, and it's been a couple of challenging ones, to be honest. So last game week had Aguero captaincy, that failed. Had Slav ice captain, and he also didn't get any returns. So it was actually my first ever captaincy blank of the season. So pretty gutted not to keep that record up, but overall, I've had a good run of captaincy, so not overly disappointed. I did have a big red arrow, slipped down to 17,000, which is not going in the right direction. So I felt like I really needed to refresh my team, bring in some new blood. I really wanted Sterling, and I've been worried that he's going to get benched for quite some time, and partly why I haven't brought him in. I thought he might get benched to the weekend, but I decided, look, I've just got to bring him in. I've got to bite the bullet. So I made the move for Hazard, which hasn't paid off this time because typically this was the time that Sterling got benched. But my other two moves, they did pay off. So I took out Aguero for Kane. A lot of people were deciding whether to go Aubameyang or Kane, and that was in light of the North London derby and Aubameyang being very good in that. And to be honest, I didn't even consider Aubameyang. Kane was the guy I wanted. He's nailed on. He's on captaincies. He's going to get the minutes. He was a great captaincy option midweek, which was also part of my thinking of bringing him in. But that said, Aubameyang is a great option, and he's certainly someone I'm considering for this week. So, I think if you've brought him in, then he's a good option. But for me, Kane was probably the number one choice that I wanted over Christmas. So that's the reason I went for him. I also did a move for Fabianski, so I took a -4. I had 2 frees last week. Patricio's been underperforming for weeks. Wolves, for the start of the season, they weren't actually getting that many clean sheets, but their numbers were really good, which gave me hope. Now their underlying defensive numbers are pretty poor. And, Fabianski, West Ham, they've got a really, really good run of fixtures, so it made sense to make that move, even though it was for a hit. I just felt that, long term that would pay off, and actually it paid off straight away with Fabianski getting the penalty save, which is obviously a nice bonus. But West Ham were very close to getting a clean sheet there, so it was unlucky to not get the clean sheet, but the penalty save was pretty fortunate. But I'm very happy to have Fabianski in. I think that he's a great goalkeeper. And probably the best around the 4.5 bracket. If you're going to go a bit more, then Edison or Allison look good options. But for me, I wanted a 4.5, so that's the way I went. So I'm also getting a lot of questions around defenders and who we should be looking at, and whether we should be getting rid of Alonso, for example. Now, just to go for the Alonso, every time, because he's the most expensive defender, every time you want money, you think, Alonso's going to be the cash guy. He's the one I'm going to downgrade to be able to afford, the next biggest midfielder, or the Aubameyangs and the Kanes of this world. What I would say to that is that come the end of the season, I'm pretty sure that Alonso is going to be in the top 5 highest performing players in the whole game. And for getting him around the 7 million mark, I wouldn't be comparing him to defenders. I'd be comparing him to those midfielders and those forwards. And when you compare him to the midfielders and forwards, it's not even close. So every time someone asks, should I get rid of Alonso? My answer is simple: don't. Having said that, there are some really good defensive options at the moment. I really like Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's on set pieces. He's taking free kicks. He's looking a threat from them and an assist threat as well. And crucially, Gomez is out injured. So he was occasionally rotating with Gomez. He did get benched for Wednesday's game, but it looks like over Christmas he's going to be needed by Klopp. So he's looking like a fantastic option. I'm kind of gutted that I can't get him. May even look for the switch from Robertson, because I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is probably looking like the number one Liverpool defender at the moment. Liverpool have a little bit mixed fixtures coming up, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is the defender of choice at the moment, and if you're looking for a defender, he's the way I'd go. So, having a look at Arnautovic replacements, I think there are a lot of interesting options here. Over the last 6 game weeks, we've got Kane top, so he's probably the number one. Obviously, he's completely different price to Arnautovic, but if you haven't got Kane, I'd certainly look at maybe downgrading Salah and trying to squeeze him in. Raul Jimenez is second for total shots over the last 6 game weeks, coming in with 21 shots. Then Rondon also on 21, Mitrovic 19, Morata, I don't think anyone's really considering. Aubameyang coming in with 15 total shots, and then Callum Wilson also on 15. So that gives you a brief, sort of overview of the players that you probably should be considering. Jimenez is a really interesting option. He's had good underlying numbers for quite a lot of the season, but hasn't really delivered. For that price point, maybe you could argue that he has delivered, and he is producing solid returns, and he's a very, very strong option. Rondon, I still don't really trust Newcastle. I think you could go that route, and he will tick along with a sort of a steady trickle of points. He's got good numbers. He is a good player. Mitrovic. So Mitrovic, I think, is an interesting option. He's, Fulham are playing well again, and he looks like a really good player, and he's going to be picking up points. The one thing that I don't like about Mitrovic is he's on 4 yellow cards, so if he picks up another yellow card, he's going to miss a game, and that's not really what you want over Christmas. Then you got Callum Wilson, so he was my move out for Arnautovic, and I did that, so I think it was around game week 8, and that cost me a lot of points, so there's an argument to bring him in, and I really like Callum Wilson. I think he's a great option. I also like Jimenez. So if out of the options, my 2 favourite around the Arnautovic price point are Jimenez and Callum Wilson. But unfortunately, both Wolves and Bournemouth have really, really bad fixtures over Christmas. So as you can see in the fixture ticker there, both of them are really low down, especially for attack, which is not ideal really. So on balance, I'm probably looking to remove, for me personally, I think both of them are really good options, and they will deliver points if you're looking for a straight swap. Me personally, I'm looking to downgrade Salah and upgrade Arnautovic to Aubameyang. So I think that's probably the move if I'm going to make this week. I'll come to that a bit later. Why Aubameyang? The whole Kane-Aubameyang debate, I probably prefer Harry Kane, but Aubameyang got a really good run of fixtures. He's a quality player, he's got a really decent goal conversion rate, and you think that's unsustainable and think that might drop off, but actually if you look at his history at different clubs, that's the goal conversion rate he's had most of his career. So he's a quality player. He puts most of the chances away. I know he missed one at Man United, but in general, he's bang in form. The thing I like about Arsenal is that they're going for goals. They're going all out to get those goals, not really worrying too much about defence. And Aubameyang looks like he's going to be a key part of that. He's got a high goal involvement rate for Arsenal. So when Arsenal do get those goals, he's really likely to be involved. And of course, Arsenal have a really nice run of fixtures. Starting off with a good one this weekend, I think Aubameyang is a great captaincy option as well. Okay, so I'm quickly going to go over Spurs midfielders because I have a couple of questions about this as well. In short, I think that Son is probably the best option. So over the last 4 game weeks, Son is top 4 shots in the box for midfielders. Eriksen's obviously got a big, much greater assist threat, and he might get more minutes over Christmas. But for me personally, that coming in a bit cheaper for Son works well. And as a Spurs fan, looking at Spurs play, they look like a different animal when Son's on the pitch. So I'm leaning towards Son for my team. I think he is really important for how Spurs play. I think he will get a lot of minutes. Everyone's going to get rotated and rested over Christmas, especially the Man City midfielders who you might be comparing him to. I'd probably consider Sane actually, if I could stretch that budget a little bit more, but I can't. So Sane, he's a really strong option. I think potentially this game week he could be benched, so it might not be the best time to bring him in, but he looks like Sane is a very strong option if you don't have him already. I'm kind of gutted I can't get him in. Think that with Mendy out, he looks to nail down that left side for City. So yeah, he looks like a fantastic option. David Silva, obviously another strong one there, but probably for me personally, I'm going to go with Son. Spurs obviously got that great run of fixtures coming up. So briefly have a look at the captaincy poll this week. I put this up a couple of hours ago on Twitter. And Aubameyang leading the way there, currently on 56%. Kane second place with 24%. I think that's a tough fixture for Spurs. They are in form. Kane is in form, so he could well produce. But Leicester away, they're actually quite solid defensively in terms of their underlying statistics. So for me, Kane is. I prefer Aubameyang, and that's part of the reason why I'm bringing him in this week. Salah, I'm quite nervous about getting rid of Salah this week. He looks, he's going to play. He's rested midweek. He's going to play, and he certainly could do well this weekend. I'd prefer to have left it to next week to get rid of him, but that Arnautovic injury and wanting to get Aubameyang in and needing funds to do that has forced my hand a little bit. So we're coming towards the end of the video now. If you liked it, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out, and hit that subscribe button as well. Again, really helps me out and helps the channel grow and encourages me to do more of these. If you have any questions around your team, leave a comment and I'll try my very best to get back to them and answer all of them. So before I leave you, I got asked on Twitter earlier this week whether we've got any guides or anything that help for new players. So someone who said they really enjoyed my videos, but they wanted some more background on how to play FPL and the nuance of playing FPL. And the good news is that we do. It's a how to win an FPL guide that's written by myself and a really good FPL player, FPL Eisenberg. Go check him out on Twitter if you don't follow him already. But this guide covers absolutely everything that you need to understand to really do well at FPL. So if you're a complete beginner, it's got a complete beginner's guide, but it's also got a lot around formations and team structure and how you should set up your team, how to take hits, when to take hits in FPL, and a lot around defense strategies, 2- and 3-way rotation strategies. Got a lot on chips and wildcards and how to play them, when to play them, and also how to build team value. So it's really important that you build that team value up so you get more high quality players into your team. So it is a members guide, so it's for our members on the hub, but that is very accessible. So if you're interested in that guide, then I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to go check out. But otherwise, it's a bye for me from now. I hope your arrows are green, and I'll see you next week. I'm probably going to be doing it a little bit earlier next week, because going to be trying to get the video out on Tuesday evening, so hopefully I'll be able to do that. So keep an eye out for that, for it coming a bit earlier. Bye for now.